0412 hours. The Bitterroot Mountains sleep under a ceiling of stars so dense they cast shadows on the snow. 380 feet above a killing ground, Kira Brennan settles behind her rifle. The scope's reticle finds a face she knows too well. 1,080 yards. Wind gusting northwest at 18 miles per hour. Temperature dropping. The mathematics of death scroll through her mind like a prayer she never wanted to learn. Her finger touches the trigger. Featherlight, the way her father taught her. The radio crackles. Static, then a voice breaking through jamming that shouldn't be possible to penetrate. Overwatch 2, this is Kodiak 6, 26 operators. Encircled. Comms failing. If you copy, we need God himself. Silence. Just wind through lodgepole pine and her own breathing controlled, measured the breath of someone who has already decided. She whispers into the void, into the static, into the dark. Not God, just a ghost. The rifle speaks. One word, definitive. Cut to black. 68 hours earlier, Fort Harrison, Montana. The Western Training Facility squats in mountain shadow like a secret the government keeps in plain sight. Here the FBI trains its hostage rescue team. Here men learn to breach doors and rappel from helicopters and put bullets through playing cards at 300 meters. Here Kira Brennan has learned what it means to be very good at something no one wants you to do. The briefing room smells like burnt coffee and the peculiar tension of men preparing for violence they hope won't come. 26 operators fill the space. 25 men, one woman. She sits in the back, always the back, visibility without prominence, presence without intrusion, the art of being there without being noticed. Special agent in charge, Patricia Aldridge, stands at the podium, 55 years old, steel gray hair pulled back tight enough to make weaker women wince. Eyes that have read every lie the human face can tell. The Sovereign Brotherhood. Aldridge clicks the remote. A compound appears on screen. Log structures arranged in defensive positions, cleared fields of fire, berms and obstacles that speak of military planning. Domestic terror organization, anti-government extremists, led by Thaddeus Collier, former Special Forces, dishonorably discharged in 2009. Collier's face fills the screen, 55 years old, weathered like driftwood, eyes that have seen too much and learned the wrong lessons. Intelligence indicates imminent mass casualty attack, federal building in Boise, possibly truck bomb, possibly coordinated small arms assault. Aldridge's voice carries the weight of certainty built on evidence she cannot share. Timeline 72 hours maximum. We insert locate Collier coordinate with tactical for raid. The terrain map replaces Collier's face. The Bitterroot Mountains sprawl across the screen like a geological middle finger to easy answers. Peaks and valleys, forest and rock, places where men can disappear and never be found. Insertion here. Aldridge's pointer strikes a clearing 6 miles from the compound. Night drop, 2 birds. Hike and establish observation positions. Locate primary target. Call in tactical when confirmed. Kira studies the map. Her eyes trace contour lines the way a priest reads scripture. Every ridge is a sermon, every valley a revelation. She sees something, sees it clearly. A funnel, an approach that forces movement through a single corridor. Sawmill Gorge, 50 meters wide. Steep walls, limited egress. Perfect for observation. Perfect for ambush. Her throat tightens. She should say something. Should raise her hand. Should speak the words that crowd behind her teeth like refugees seeking asylum. But she remembers Spokane, 11 months ago. Different mission, different compound. She'd questioned the approach in briefing, suggested alternate route. The team leader had listened, nodded, then proceeded exactly as originally planned. The mission succeeded. 6 arrests, 0 casualties. And afterward, in the informal debrief over beers she wasn't invited to, she'd overheard the whispers. Paranoid. Overthinking. Girl sees ghosts. The words had cut deeper than she'd ever admit. So now, in this briefing room that smells of coffee and a certainty, Kira Brennan keeps her mouth shut, swallows the warning, tells herself that maybe she's wrong, that maybe 6 miles of approach offers other options, that maybe the tactical coordinator has considered Sawmill Gorge and determined the risk acceptable. Maybe. Aldridge continues. Team leader Captain Wade Mitchell. Operational command transfers to him at Wheels Up. Mitchell stands, 44 years old. Solid in the way career operators become solid, not gym muscles, but the density of a man who has carried heavy things long distances. Short-cropped hair going gray at the temples. Face that has learned not to show what it feels. Primary entry team 12 operators. Overwatch Element 6, Reserve Element 8, Comms Medical Technical Support Distributed. Mitchell's voice carries command the way granite carries weight. Insertion at 0200, 6-hour approach. Establish positions by 0800. Observation window opens at first light. He scans the room, his eyes find Kira. Hold for a moment. Something passes between them. Not doubt, not dismissal. Something else. Recognition, perhaps. Of capability kept on a leash. Agent Brennan, Overwatch 2, 400 meters rear of primary positions. You're our early warning and long-range coverage, Orndamo. Yes, sir. Her voice doesn't waver, doesn't question. This is her role, has always been her role. Overwatch. Reconnaissance. The eyes that watch while others act. She tells herself it's important work, critical work. Someone has to do it. Someone always has to be watching from a distance. The briefing continues. Radio frequencies, weather projections, contingency plans stacked on contingency plans. The architecture of hope that maybe this operation goes clean, that maybe everyone comes home. Kira takes notes. Neat handwriting. Years of practice turning observations into reports that other people read and act upon. Her pen traces terrain features. Sawmill Gorge appears in her notebook, a small notation. A question mark. She doesn't speak it aloud. 64 hours earlier, the armory smells like gun oil and the metallic promise of controlled violence. Kira assembles her kit with the muscle memory of 10,000 repetitions. M110 semi-automatic sniper system, 7.62 NATO, 20-round magazine. Effective range 1,000 meters. Maximum range well beyond what the manual admits. Her rifle, her responsibility, her only vote in what happens next. She field strips it, inspects each component, reassembles with the care of a surgeon preparing instruments. Every movement precise, economical, beautiful in the way purely functional things are beautiful. Brennan, she turns. Sergeant Garrett Sullivan leans against the doorframe. 38 years old, built like a middleweight boxer who never learned to quit. Scars trace his knuckles, old breaks healed wrong. His face carries the particular weathering of a man who has been shot at in 4 continents and decided it was preferable to a desk job. Sullivan is the closest thing she has to a friend in this unit. Not friend in the civilian sense they don't grab coffee or discuss personal lives, but friend in the way operators become friends. He trusts her competence. She trusts his judgment. In their profession, this is intimacy. Sarge, you're quiet. Sullivan steps into the armory. Quieter than usual. And your usual is a Trappist monk with laryngitis. Despite herself, Kira almost smiles. Almost. Just thinking. About the mission, she considers lying, considers deflecting. Instead, she tells a version of truth. The approach, through Sawmill Gorge. It's a natural funnel. Sullivan nods slowly. He pulls a chair, straddles it backward. This is how he listens fully without hurry, like he has nowhere else to be and infinite time to get there. You flag this in briefing. No. Why not? The question hangs between them. Simple. Dangerous. The kind of question that requires honest answers if you respect the person asking. Because maybe I'm overthinking it. Because maybe tactical already considered it. Because, she pauses, chooses words carefully. Because last time I questioned an approach, I was wrong and I looked paranoid. Sullivan studies her face. His eyes are gray, the color of winter sky before snow. Spokane? Yes. That wasn't paranoia, Brennan. That was good tactical sense applied to incomplete intelligence. The fact that it worked out doesn't mean you were wrong to question it. It means I was wrong about the outcome. No, Sullivan's voice firms. It means you assessed risk and voiced concern. That's the job. The fact that the risk didn't materialize doesn't invalidate the assessment. Kira wants to believe him, wants to accept that her caution was professional rather than fearful. But the whispers echo, paranoid, overthinking. Girl sees ghosts. If you see something, Sullivan says quietly, you say something. That's not a motivational poster in a high school hallway. That's operational doctrine. Your observations keep us alive. Even when I'm wrong. Especially when you're wrong, I'd rather you call out 10 false positives than miss one real threat. He stands, claps her shoulder, once brief contact, the most physical affection operators permit themselves. Trust your gut, Brennan. Your father taught you well. The mention of Declan Brennan brings the familiar ache. 2 years gone. Aneurysm. Sudden and total, the way a light switch transforms a room from visible to void. One moment teaching her to read weather in cloud formations. The next moment gone. She'd scattered his ashes on Granite Peak, 10,000 feet up. where the air was thin and the view went forever, where a man who'd taught her that mountains keep better secrets than people could rest among them. Thank you, Sarge. Sullivan nods and leaves. The armory returns to silence. Kira returns to her rifle. But the conversation lingers like smoke. Trust your gut. She wishes her gut spoke louder than her fear of being wrong. 12 hours earlier, the UH-60 Blackhawk shudders through mountain air like a living thing navigating invisible currents. Inside, 26 operators sit in the particular stillness of professionals preparing for work. Some check equipment. Some sleep, the practiced sleep of people who have learned to rest before violence. Some stare into middle-distance faces, blank minds, walking through scenarios they hope won't come. Kira sits near the tail ramp, her position, always near an exit. Not from fear, but from tactical sense. In her role, she deploys first, extracts last. Overwatch sees everything. Overwatch leaves nothing behind. She checks her rifle for the third time, knows it's unnecessary, knows it's ritual. The human need to touch something solid before stepping into uncertainty. Across from her sits Agent Brennan Thatcher, 32 years old, face still carrying youth despite 6 years in HRT. Wedding ring catches cabin light, titanium scratch from fieldwork. He'd shown her photos 2 weeks ago. His wife, 7 months pregnant. They'd picked names. Boy James, girl Sarah. Thatcher catches her looking, grins. You think it's a boy or a girl? She doesn't know how to answer questions like this. Doesn't know the protocol for small talk about lives that continue beyond operations. But Thatcher is kind, and kindness deserves effort. What does your wife think? Girl, she's convinced. Says she can tell by how she's carrying. His grin widens. My mom says boy, so statistically I'm screwed either way. Sounds like you win either way. Yeah, his expression softens. Yeah, I do. Beside Thatcher sits Agent Hollis Drummond, 29 years old, youngest operator on the team, eager in the way young men are eager when they haven't yet learned how eagerness can get you killed. He'd sought Kira out after the briefing, asked about her father, said he'd read Declan Brennan's after-action reports from Ranger operations, said they were required reading for anyone serious about mountain warfare. The hero worship had been uncomfortable, still is, but Drummond means well, and meaning well counts for something. Captain Mitchell moves through the cabin, checking operators. A word here, a nod there. When he reaches Kira, he crouches, brief conversation at eye level rather than standing above. Brennan, your position gives you best visibility on approach. If you see anything off, you call it immediately. Yes, sir. I mean it. Mitchell's voice drops below the rotor noise. Only she can hear. I've read your file. Your assessments are solid. Don't second-guess yourself out there. Something in her chest loosens. Permission. Validation. The thing she didn't know she needed. Understood, sir. He nods and moves on, but the words remain. Don't second-guess yourself. She wishes it were that simple. The crew chief signals. 2 minutes. Operators stand, check gear one final time. The cabin fills with the clicking of buckles, the scrape of magazines seated in rifles, the whispered prayers men say when they think no one hears. Kira stands, adjusts her pack. 70 pounds, water, ammunition, equipment. The weight feels good, feels real. Reminds her that this is happening, that in 2 minutes she steps into darkness and begins a 6-hour movement toward something her gut screams is wrong. Trust your gut, Sullivan had said. But her gut has been wrong before. The Blackhawk descends. The crew chief opens the side door. Mountain air rushes in, cold, pine-scented, carrying the particular silence of 3 a.m. in wilderness. The kind of silence that makes city people nervous and mountain people calm. Kira breathes it deep, lets it fill her lungs. Center her. The helicopter touches down. Doesn't land, just hovers 3 feet above Earth. The crew chief signals. Go. Mitchell leads. Operators follow. Smooth deployment. Rehearsed choreography. Within 15 seconds, 26 bodies are on the ground. The Blackhawk lifts, banks, disappears into darkness with a fading rotor thud. Then silence. 26 people standing in a mountain clearing, invisible to everything except stars. Mitchell raises a fist. Column formation. They move. Kira takes her position 400 meters behind the main element. Alone. This is her place. Her role. She activates night vision. The world transforms to green phosphor. Trees become silhouettes. Rocks become obstacles. The path ahead becomes navigable. She moves. 6 hours of movement. The approach is textbook, slow, deliberate, minimizing noise. Every hour they stop. Listen. Let the mountain tell them what lives in the darkness. Kira maintains distance. 400 meters. close enough to support, far enough to provide independent observation. Her rifle sweeps sectors, her eyes catalog terrain, every ridge, every draw, every position where a man could hide and watch. The night vision reveals deer, elk, once a bear massive and unconcerned ambling through underbrush like a landlord checking property. The animals comfort her. They wouldn't be here if humans had disturbed this area recently, unless the humans were very good at being quiet. At 0600, the sky begins its transition. Not light yet, but the promise of light. The stars fade incrementally. The world holds its breath. Mitchell's voice crackles through her earpiece. Subdued, professional. Overwatch 2, this is Kodiak 6. We're approaching checkpoint Delta. Confirm your position. She checks GPS. Her voice matches his quiet. Kodiak 6, Overwatch 2, 400 meters, you're 6. Terrain elevated. Good visibility on your approach vector. Copy. We're moving through Sawmill Gorge in 15 mics. Keep eyes up. Her throat tightens. Sawmill Gorge. She knew it was coming. The map showed it clearly. The approach route funneled through it. No good alternatives without adding hours to the timeline. But knowing and experiencing are different things. She moves to a position with sight lines into the gorge. Sets up prone behind a fallen spruce. The tree smells of decay and renewal bark, soft with rot core still solid. She nestles the rifle into the hollow where a branch once grew. Natural rest. Stable. Through her scope, she watches the gorge. 50 meters wide. Walls rising steeply on both sides. Lodgepole pine thick on the ridges. Good cover for observers. Too good. Her eyes scan. Searching. Looking for the thing that doesn't belong. The shape that's too regular. The shadow that moves wrong. Nothing. Maybe she's paranoid. Maybe Spokane taught her to see threats that don't exist. Maybe they're East Ridge, 70 meters above the gorge floor. A glint. Brief. Possibly sun on rock. Possibly sun on glass. She keys her radio. Kodiak 6, Overwatch 2. I have possible, the world explodes. Mortar rounds impact with the particular thunder of high explosives in confined spaces. The gorge amplifies sound. Turns it weapon. Kira watches through her scope as 3 rounds bracket the lead element. Dirt and rock geysering. Shrapnel humming through air. Machine gun fire erupts. East Ridge. West Ridge. North Ridge. Crossfire. Perfect tactical geometry. Her radio fills with voices. Controlled. Professional. The sound of people doing jobs under conditions that want them dead. Contact 3 sides. I need fire on that ridgeline. Drummonds hit Drummonds. The radio cuts to static. Pure white noise. Then silence. Jamming. Military-grade electronic warfare. Kira lies behind her scope watching 26 people she knows pinned in a killing ground she'd seen coming and said nothing about. The guilt hits like blunt force trauma. She should have spoken. Should have trusted the warning her gut screamed during briefing. Should have stood up and said, this approach is a funnel. This gorge is a kill box. We need an alternate route. Should have. Didn't. And now people are dying. Through her scope, she watches Sergeant Sullivan drag someone to cover. Watches muzzle flashes from positions she'd been trained to identify. Watches the tactical situation deteriorate in real time. She tries her radio. Kodiak 6, this is Overwatch 2. Do you copy? Static. Any station, this is Overwatch 2. Radio check. Static. She's alone, 400 meters from a slaughter, with a rifle and 14 rounds, in the certain knowledge that if she does nothing, 26 people die. Her hands shake. Adrenaline, fear, guilt. Her father's voice. Memory. Not ghost, not hallucination. Just the echo of 1,000 conversations in mountains just like these. When protocol kills people, trust your gut. She looks at the terrain, studies it the way he taught her, reads the story written in stone and tree. There, Sentinel Ridge, 380 feet of vertical granite, east side of the gorge. Military terrain analysis rates it non-traversable. 70-degree slope, unstable rock. Impossible. Except she's climbed Granite Peak, has followed her father up frozen waterfalls and ice-glazed cliff faces, has learned that impossible is a word people use for things they haven't figured out yet. If she can reach the summit of Sentinel Ridge, she'll have clear sight lines into the entire gorge. Every enemy position, every machine gun nest, every mortar team. If she can reach it, the odds are bad. 70% slope, loose rock, darkness fading but not gone. No climbing gear beyond basics, no backup. If she falls, she dies alone and no one will know she tried. But if she doesn't try, everyone dies together. The mathematics are simple, brutal, clear. Kira Brennan makes her choice. She strips her pack, keeps only essentials. Water, ammunition, minimal climbing gear. Everything else stays behind $90 worth of government equipment she might never retrieve. She pulls out her notepad, writes quickly. Captain Mitchell, attempting Sentinel Ridge. If I don't make it, tell Sergeant Sullivan, I'm sorry for not speaking up earlier. Brennan, she tears out the page, weighs it with a rock, knows no one will find it if she fails, knows writing it is superstition, writes it anyway. Then she moves toward the cliff. Behind her, gunfire echoes through the gorge. In front of her, granite rises like a challenge geology poses to hubris. She touches the rock. Cold, rough, indifferent to whether she lives or dies. Okay, Dad, she whispers to memory, to mountain, to the morning that cares nothing for prayer. Let's see if you taught me well enough. She begins to climb. The first handhold crumbles under her fingers like stale bread. Kira jerks her hand back. Instinct. Watches fragments of granite tumble down the cliff face. They make small sounds, clicks and taps. The sound of geology reminding humans how temporary their grip on anything truly is. She tests another hold. This one stays. She pulls, shifts weight, finds a foothold, begins. 380 feet of vertical stone stretches above her. In daylight, climbers with proper equipment would call this route aggressive. In pre-dawn darkness, with gunfire echoing from the gorge below, and no safety equipment beyond her own two hands, aggressive becomes suicidal. Kira climbs anyway. 20 feet up, her right boot slips. For one crystalline second, she hangs by her fingertips. Gravity makes its argument. Her forearms scream counter-argument. She finds purchase, pushes up, keeps moving. Her father's voice surfaces from memory. Not the comforting memories, the teaching ones, the hard ones. Pain is information, not instruction. Listen to it. Don't obey it. Declan Brennan had said that on a frozen waterfall outside Stillwater when she was 12. She'd been crying, hands numb from cold, convinced she couldn't continue. He'd waited, patient as geology, until she'd stopped crying and started climbing again. The lesson had seemed cruel then, seems essential now. 50 feet, the rock face angles slightly, not enough to rest, just enough to make the next section visible. Kira pauses, scans the road ahead. Her night vision goggles dangle useless from her neck. Can't climb and use optics simultaneously. Has to rely on emerging dawn light and the genetic lottery that gave her father's eyes. The ones that could read terrain in darkness and find paths where others saw only obstacle. Below, the sound of gunfire continues. Staccato bursts, the rhythm of suppressive fire meeting defensive positions. She tries not to think about what each burst means. Tries not to calculate ammunition expenditure rates and casualty projections. Tries. Fails. Her radio remains silent. The jammers are effective, military-grade equipment, the kind of gear that costs six figures and requires specialized training. Not the tools of anti-government militia playing soldier. Something else. Something professional. The thought makes her climb faster, reckless. She knows it's reckless. Doesn't stop. 70 feet. Her fingers find a crack in the granite. Perfect width for a jam. She wedges her hand in, twists. The friction holds her weight. She pulls. Her shoulder joint protests with the specific pain of ligaments stretching toward their structural limit. Don't obey it. She pulls harder. 90 feet. The cliff face smooths. Lichen covers the rock here. Green and orange growths that are beautiful in daylight and treacherous always. Her boot skids. She drops 6 inches before her hands catch. The jolt sends lightning through her shoulders. She hangs, breathing hard, heart hammering against her ribs like it wants out. This is the moment, the one where climbers quit or continue, where the voice that says you're going to die gets loud enough to drown out the voice that says keep moving. Kira closes her eyes, breathes, counts to 5, opens them, keeps moving. The gorge below erupts with fresh violence. She hears it, distinct even at this distance. The metallic stutter of a belt-fed machine gun, 50 caliber maybe. The kind of weapon that turns cover into concealment and concealment into memory. Someone down there is dying, maybe multiple someones, and she's hanging on a cliff face moving at the speed of extreme caution while seconds matter more than safety. She makes a decision, the kind of decision that gets people killed but sometimes keeps them alive. She starts moving faster. Accepting holds she should test longer. Trusting footholds she should verify. Trading safety for speed. 120 feet. Her right hand closes on what looks like solid granite. She commits weight. The rock explodes. Not metaphorically, actually disintegrates. Her hand clutches air in fragments. She falls. Not far. 5 feet, maybe 6. But on a 70-degree slope, 6 feet becomes significant. Her left hand scrapes rock, looking for anything. Her right hand windmills. Her boots kick. Her left hand finds something. A protrusion. Maybe a doorknob-sized knob of stone. Maybe a death sentence with a brief delay. She closes her fist around it. Her full weight loads onto that single point. The rock holds. Barely. She hears it. A sound like glass cracking in slow motion. The geological announcement that this hold has a lifespan measured in seconds. Her right hand shoots out. Searching. Desperate. Finds another hold. She transfers weight. The left hand hold shatters completely. Falls past her in chunks. She doesn't watch them fall. Doesn't have time. Her right foot finds a ledge. She pushes. Her left hand finds a crack. She jams. She's moving again. Doesn't stop. Can't stop. Because stopping means thinking, and thinking means understanding how close she just came. 140 feet. A natural shelf, 18 inches deep. Enough to stand on, and Kira pulls herself onto it. Collapses. Lies there breathing like she's just learned how. Her hands shake. Adrenaline. Fear. The body's honest response to near death. She watches them shake. Disconnected, like they belong to someone else. Time becomes elastic. She could be here for seconds or minutes. Has no way to measure. Her watch is somewhere below her field of vision, and checking it seems impossible. The sky lightens. Dawn coming. The stars fade like audience members leaving a show that's gone on too long. Soon the darkness that's been her ally becomes irrelevant. Below, a sound cuts through the gunfire. Different. Distinct. The unmistakable crump of a mortar round impacting. Then screaming. Kira's body moves before her mind catches up. She's on her feet, hands finding holds. Moving up, the fear that paralyzed her transforms into fuel. Someone down there is screaming, someone whose name she knows, whose family she's met, whose dreams extend beyond this gorge. 160 feet, the granite transitions. Becomes something else. Metamorphic rock, schist maybe, different structure, different reliability. She adjusts her technique, reads the stone, moves accordingly. 180 feet. She reaches for a hold. Her hand closes on it. Pulls. The entire section of wall gives way. Not a single rock. A whole section. 20 pounds of stone that was solid yesterday and isn't today. Kira falls backward. Time does what it always does in moments like these. Stretches. Becomes thick. She has time to think complete thoughts. To observe the sky rotating. To notice the particular quality of light at dawn. To understand with perfect clarity that she is falling and will soon stop falling, and the stop will be permanent. Her right hand shoots out. Pure reflex. No conscious thought. Fingers close on something. A ridge. A lip. Something that isn't falling. Her body weight loads onto it. Her arm feels like it's being removed from her shoulder. The socket screams. She screams with it. But her fingers hold. She hangs. One hand. Legs kicking in space. The void below her is 180 feet of nothing, followed by something very solid and very final. Her left hand searches, clawing at rock, finding nothing, finding nothing, finding there. A crack, thin, maybe wide enough for 3 fingers. She wedges them in, twists. The friction is minimal, but it's something. She has 2 points of contact now instead of 1. Her right foot finds a nubbin of stone, barely qualifies as a foothold. More like a geological suggestion. She places her boot toe on it, tests. It holds. 3 points of contact. The climber's trinity. Enough to shift weight, enough to move. She pulls, pushes. Her body rises an inch, then another. Her right hand finds a new hold. Better, more substantial. She transfers weight. Her breathing sounds like sobbing. Maybe is sobbing. Hard to tell when terror and exertion blur together. She doesn't look down, knows better. Looking down makes the fall real, makes it imaginable. Right now she needs it to remain abstract. She climbs, each movement discreet, intentional. She stops thinking about the summit, stops calculating remaining distance, reduces existence to the next hold, the next movement, the immediate future that extends exactly 1 handhold ahead. 200 feet, her right calf cramps. The muscle seizes like someone's driving a spike through it. She gasps, presses her forehead against cold stone, breathes through it. Her father's voice again. Not teaching this time, just being there. The memory of his presence, the certainty that he'd climbed through worse and survived. The cramp releases. She moves. 220 feet. The angle eases. Slightly. The cliff face here approaches merely vertical rather than actively malevolent. She makes better time. Her confidence returns. Small increments. Measured. 240 feet. She hears something. Distinct from gunfire. Different frequency. Her radio. Not words. Just static. But static that pulses. Rhythmic. Someone's keying a transmitter. Breaking through the jamming. Barely. Insufficient for voice communication but enough to transmit presence. Someone down there knows she's here. Is trying to reach her. The thought gives her strength she didn't know she had. 260 feet. A ledge. Narrow. She pulls onto it. Sits. Allows herself 30 seconds. Times them. 30 seconds to drink water. To let her forearms recover. To remember that she has a body and it has limits and she's approaching them. From this height, the gorge spreads below like a tactical map come to life. She sees it all. The team pinned in defensive positions. The enemy on surrounding ridges. The geometry of fire. The mathematics of casualties. She sees someone lying still. Too still. Can't identify who from this distance. Doesn't want to try. 30 seconds expire. She stands. Continues. 280 feet. She reaches for a hold and hears voices. Not memory. Not imagination. Actual voices. Close. Maybe 40 feet lateral. On the ridgeline. Enemy position. She freezes. Becomes stone herself. Doesn't breathe. Doesn't move. Becomes absolutely nothing. The voices continue. Male. American accents. Professional terminology. Not militia. Not even close. Alpha 3, do you copy? Copy Alpha 3. Position secure. No visual on shooters. Maintain overwatch. Ironside wants this clean. Ironside, a call sign, military, professional. Copy. What's the body count? 2 confirmed, maybe 3. Hard to tell with all the smoke. 2, maybe 3. People she knows, dead, while she hangs on a cliff face like a spider on a windshield. The guilt threatens to overwhelm. She pushes it down, breathes, forces focus. Guilt later. Climb now. The voices fade, moving away, conducting their patrol. Their professional military, thoroughly competent patrol. Kira continues climbing. But something has shifted. These aren't anti-government extremists playing tactical. These are soldiers, former soldiers maybe, contractors, mercenaries, people who know what they're doing, people who set a perfect ambush because they had professional training to draw from. The thought should terrify her, does terrify her, but it also clarifies. She's not climbing to help FBI agents fight militia. She's climbing to help FBI agents fight professionals. The math just got worse. 300 feet. Her hands are bleeding now. She notices it distantly. The gloves are shredded. Granite has found skin. Blood makes hold slippery. She wipes her hands on her pants. Keeps moving. 320 feet. The sky brightens enough that she can see without straining. Dawn proper. The stars are gone. The world reveals itself in shades of gray, becoming color. She can see the summit now, 60 feet above. Might as well be 600. Her arms shake with exhaustion. Her shoulders feel like someone's been working them over with a bat. Her legs cramp and release and cramp again in irregular rhythm. She climbs. 340 feet. A sound cuts through everything. Her radio, actual words, broken, barely intelligible, but words. Water, Annie, copy, dying here, Sullivan's voice. She knows it, would know it in a crowd of thousands. The voice that told her to trust her gut. The voice that represents the closest thing to friendship she has in this unit. She can't respond. Her radio is received only when the jamming is this heavy. But hearing him steadies her, reminds her why she's doing this. 360 feet. The rock face crumbles under her right foot. She shifts weight fast, finds new purchase. Doesn't fall, barely. 370 feet. Her left hand finds solid granite. She pulls. Her right hand joins it. She pulls harder. Her head crests the summit ridge. She's there. Kira Brennan drags herself over the edge, collapses onto flat ground that feels like heaven and safety and every comfortable thing she's ever known. She lies there, face against stone, breathing, just breathing. Her body wants to shut down, wants to curl up and sleep for days. Wants to acknowledge that she just climbed 380 feet of vertical granite in darkness, with minimal equipment and deserves rest. She gives herself 10 seconds, times them, 10 seconds to lie here and feel human. Then she moves, her rifle, still slung across her back. Miracle it survived. She unslings it, checks it with hands that shake so badly she can barely work the bolt. Chamber clear, barrel clear, scope. The scope has a crack. Hairline, running through the center of the glass, must have impacted during the climb, during one of the falls. During one of the 1,000 moments when this rifle should have shattered but didn't. She stares at it. The crack bisects her view, makes ranging harder, makes precision difficult, makes everything worse. But the scope still functions. Barely. Enough. It'll have to be enough. She moves to the edge, sets up prone between two boulders. Natural hide. Not perfect. She's exposed to return fire from about 40% of possible angles, but she has clear sight lines into the gorge. She can see everything. The team is smaller now, not 26. She counts. Difficult with bodies behind cover, but she counts. 24 maybe. Two definitely not moving. She tries not to identify them. Fails. One is too big to be anyone but number focus. Identify targets, not casualties. She scans enemy positions, counts them, marks them mentally. Machine gun nests, mortar positions, squad leaders, radio operators, the architecture of professional military operations. Her hands steady. The act of preparing to shoot calms her, muscle memory taking over from panic. She's done this 1,000 times. Range, training, deployments, the ritual of setting up the shot, range card, wind flags, distance estimation. She does it all. Precise, methodical. Target 1 materializes in her scope. Enemy sniper, East Ridge, 820 yards. She can see him clearly. Prone, professional position, currently engaging the gorge below, currently killing her people. She settles in, controls breathing, finds the space between heartbeats, places the crosshairs. The crack in the scope cuts through his center mass, makes the sight picture wrong, off. She compensates, adjusts. Her finger finds the trigger. Press. The rifle speaks. Through the cracked scope she watches. The bullet impacts 6 inches left of target. The sniper doesn't fall, doesn't even flinch, just shifts position slightly. Professional response to near miss. She missed. First shot. The one that announces your presence. The one that tells everyone where you are and what you can do. She missed. The enemy sniper returns fire, reads her position from muzzle signature. She sees the flash, hears the crack, feels the impact as his round strikes rock 2 feet from her head. Fragments pepper her face, sting, draw blood. He's good, very good. Adjusted for her position in seconds. Put a round close enough to make her reconsider her life choices. She doesn't move, doesn't flinch. Chambers another round. The bolt action smooth despite shaking hands. Her radio crackles. Sullivan's voice. Clearer now, she's higher. Line of sight through some gap in the jamming. Stillwater, that you saw Tracer? She keys her radio, hopes the transmission breaks through. Sullivan, I'm on Sentinel Ridge. Static. Then knew you'd something crazy. Breathe like your old man taught. The words are broken, fragmentary, but they land. Sullivan knows she's here. Sullivan believes she can do this. She breathes, resets, finds the sniper again. He's relocated, smart. Not where she last saw him, but she reads terrain, predicts, finds him settling into new position. Range, wind, the crack in her scope that bisects everything. She compensates, adjusts, places the crosshairs high and right to account for the crack. Press. The rifle speaks again. This time the sniper drops. Clean, definitive, gone. Kira exhales, chambers another round. One down, she whispers. To herself, to her father's memory, to the mountain that doesn't care. For Thatcher. Because she knows now. Knows who the body was, the big one. Brennan Thatcher, 32 years old, wife 7 months pregnant. Baby names picked out, James or Sarah. Never going to meet either one. The knowledge should paralyze her, should make her weep, should do something other than harden her into something sharp and focused. It doesn't. She moves to target 2. Squad leader. West Ridge, gesturing, coordinating, making tactical decisions that keep her people pinned and dying. 920 yards. Long shot. Wind gusting, cracked scope. She does the math, makes the adjustments, finds the space between heartbeats. Press. The squad leader falls. She chambers another round, moves to target 3. Machine gun crew. 2 men, assistant feeding ammunition. Gunner traversing fire across the gorge. Professional, efficient, deadly. 790 yards. Easier shot, no elevation complications. Just wind in the crack bisecting her world. She targets the gunner. Press. He slumps. The assistant gunner reaches for the weapon. She chambers. Press. He falls across the gun. 4 down. The enemy is adjusting now. She can see it. Movement patterns changing. People looking around, trying to locate her. Shouted commands echoing across the valley. Confusion replacing confidence. Good. She shifts position. Moves 3 meters left. Changes her angle. Uses the boulders to create different shooting ports. They can't pin her down if they can't predict where she'll fire from. Target 5. RPG team. Setting up to engage something in the gorge. Maybe a vehicle position. Maybe a concentration of personnel. Doesn't matter. They die before they can fire. Press. The RPG gunner drops. His loader grabs the weapon. Press. The loader follows. 6 down. Her rifle barrel is warming. She can feel it. Not hot yet, but getting there. Another 20 rounds and she'll need to let it cool. Doesn't have 20 rounds. Doesn't have time. She keeps firing. Targets 7 through 12 die in rapid succession. Radio operators, squad leaders, anyone coordinating the assault, anyone making tactical decisions. She reads the battlefield like her father taught her, identifies force multipliers, eliminates them. The enemy assault on the gorge loses cohesion. Confusion spreads. Some fighters break. Run. She lets them go, focuses on the ones who stay, the professionals, the ones who are rallying, trying to regain control. Below, she sees her team adjusting, using the pressure release, redistributing ammunition, repositioning wounded. They're professionals too. They recognize opportunity when someone gifts it to them. Her radio crackles. Mitchell's voice. Clear, strong. Overwatch 2 Kodiak 6. Don't know how you got up there, Brennan, but God bless you. Keep firing. She doesn't respond. Doesn't need to. Just chambers another round and finds target 13. The battle has shifted. No longer a slaughter. Now a fight. And fights can be won. Kira Brennan settles behind her rifle. Her hands have stopped shaking. Her breathing is controlled. The crack in her scope is just another variable to account for. She does what she was trained to do. What her father taught her to do. What 26 people below her need her to do. She shoots. 18 dead changes a battlefield. Kira has fired 32 rounds across 20 minutes of sustained fire. 18 confirmed kills. 6 misses that burn into memory like brands. Each miss represents a second chance she didn't give someone. Each hit represents a life that ended because her finger moved a quarter inch. The mathematics of violence are clean, brutal, undeniable. She chambers round 33, scans through the cracked scope. The battlefield has transformed. No longer chaos. Now it's tactical stalemate. Professional soldiers on both sides in prepared positions. Trading fire. Measuring risk. Waiting for advantage. Stalemate means time. Means reinforcements can arrive. Medical care can reach the wounded. Extraction becomes possible instead of fantasy. She keeps them honest. Every time an enemy fighter shifts position, she puts a round close. Not always killing, but close enough to make them reconsider. Close enough to remind them that someone watches from impossible angles. Her radio crackles. Sullivan's voice carries strain. Urgency underneath professional calm. Stillwater, southeast draw. Large element massing. Count 40 plus. This is the push. She swings her rifle. Finds the draw through her scope. Sullivan's assessment is accurate. 40 fighters, maybe more. Consolidating. Organizing. This is endgame. The coordinated assault that will either break her team or break against them. Someone is directing this. She scans, looking for the tactical mind. The coordinator making decisions. There. Ridge overlooking the draw. 2 figures, one gesturing, pointing, the movements of command, the other holding radio equipment, professional posture, military bearing. The first figure is tall, late 50s, moving with confidence earned across decades. She zooms in. The crack in her scope makes details swim, but she sees enough. Thaddeus Collier. Ironside, the target. The reason 26 FBI agents inserted into these mountains 3 days ago. The reason 4 are already dead. Range 940 yards. Difficult but achievable. Wind variable. Scope damaged. But she's made harder shots. She begins her calculations. Wind speed. Temperature. Bullet drop. Scope crack compensation. The ritual mathematics that transform intent into impact. Then the second figure moves. Younger. Early 40s. He's not taking orders. He's giving tactical suggestions. Collier listens, nods, adjusts based on input. This is the professional. The military mind making militia effective. The reason this ambush was perfect. The reason Thatcher and Whitlock are dead. Kira zooms closer, fights the scope crack, tries to resolve features. The world stops. She knows that face, has known it since childhood. Family gatherings, Thanksgiving tables, the face that looks like her father's but younger, harder, carrying resentment like a second skeleton. Marcus Brennan, her cousin. The one dishonorably discharged for endangering civilians during operations. The one who blamed Declan Brennan for testifying against him. The one who disappeared 5 years ago after threatening the family, after saying he'd make them pay for destroying his career. Here, coordinating an ambush designed to kill FBI agents. Designed to kill her. The understanding arrives complete, instant. This wasn't random intelligence, this was bait. Marcus knew FBI would respond to threats against federal buildings. Knew she'd be on the team. Knew she'd be assigned Overwatch because that's always her assignment. He'd used her father's own teaching against her. Mountain warfare tactics. Ambush positioning. Everything Declan had taught Marcus before the discharge. Before the betrayal. Before family became enemy. Her hands shake. Not exhaustion now. Rage. Grief. The particular fury of blood betrayal. Through the scope, she watches Marcus point to positions. Watches Collier execute those suggestions. Watches them plan the assault that will kill 24 people she knows by name. 2 targets. Different ranges. Different tactical value. Different meanings. Collier 940 yards. The leader. Kill him and enemy command collapses. Militia without professional direction becomes armed chaos. The assault might falter before it starts. Marcus 730 yards. Easier shot, more personal. The man who destroyed her father, who designed this ambush, who wanted her specifically dead. The choice is clear. Tactical training makes it obvious. Her father's voice makes it mandatory. Mission first, always. Personal feelings get people killed. She knows the right answer, has known it from the instant she identified both targets. Collier is priority. Strategic target, force multiplier. Remove him and save lives. But Marcus is right there. 730 yards. Easier shot, better angle. And he killed her father, not with a bullet, with stress and shame and betrayal. With the court-martial that broke Declan's heart 2 months before the aneurysm. Her finger touches the trigger. Her father's voice. Not memory this time. Actual words from actual conversation. Ranger training when she'd asked about combat decision-making. Mission first, Kira. Always. Your feelings don't matter when lives depend on you. She hears him. Understands. Knows what he'd demand. Kira Brennan places her crosshairs on Marcus anyway. Breathes. Controls. Finds the space between heartbeats. The still point where decision becomes action. She thinks about her father, about the man Marcus helped kill with betrayal, about the family destroyed, about revenge that has waited 5 years. 3 seconds to decide. That's all she has. 3 seconds before they move, before the moment passes, before choice becomes impossible. 1. Her crosshairs settle on Marcus. Solid, certain. 2. She knows this is wrong, knows it violates everything she was trained to believe. 3. Press. The rifle speaks. Marcus Brennan drops. Center mass. Fatal. He falls behind cover. Gone. She chambers another round. Fast. Swings to find Collier. He's moving, already reacting. Professional instincts saving him. He drops behind cover. Shouts orders. But she sees blood on his shoulder. She wounded him. The same shot that killed Marcus passed close enough to Collier to graze him. He's compromised. Not combat effective, but alive. Still commanding. And then the assault launches anyway. Collier's wound doesn't stop it. He's trained them too well. 40 fighters surge from the draw. Coordinated. Professional. Executing the plan Marcus designed. 3 seconds. That's how long she spent choosing revenge over mission. 3 seconds that might cost everything. But she's still shooting. She finds targets. Services them. Machine gun efficient. No emotion. just geometry and physics. Targets drop. The assault wave takes casualties, but they keep coming. Professional soldiers don't break easily. Through her scope, she sees her team engaging, sees Sullivan coordinating fire, sees Mitchell directing, sees Agent Hollis Drummond limping between positions. He's wounded. She saw Sullivan treating his leg earlier. Tourniquet, field dressing. Drummond shouldn't be moving, but he is anyway because that's what operators do. Then she sees the enemy sniper. East Ridge, the professional she engaged earlier, the one who traded shots with her. He's repositioned, lining up for a shot, targeting the gorge below. She has maybe 2 seconds before he fires, 2 seconds to decide. Finish Collier, he's wounded, exposed. Kill him now and enemy command collapses mid-assault. The fighters might break, might retreat. Strategic victory. Or kill the sniper. Immediate threat, unknown target, unknown consequence. Tactical response. Her training screams Collier. Finish the strategic target. Win the battle. Her instinct screams sniper. Save who you can save right now. She makes her choice. Targets the sniper. Press. He drops. Clean kill. Below, Collier rallies despite his wound. Shouts orders. The assault maintains coherence. The fighters execute because he's trained them to operate without him if necessary. And through her scope, she sees Drummond. He's trying to reach better cover. Limping, leg wound slowing him. The assault wave is closing. 30 seconds maybe before they're in grenade range. He needs to move faster. Can't. The enemy sniper she just killed had been targeting someone else. Someone to her left she couldn't see. But his partner 20 yards away adjusts, sees Drummond exposed, limping. Easy target. She swings her rifle. Too slow, too late. She sees the muzzle flash. Sees Drummond jerk. Center mass. Fatal placement. He falls. Doesn't move again. 29 years old. Youngest operator on the team. Gone. If she'd killed Collier instead of the first sniper, the assault might have faltered. The enemy might have hesitated. Drummond might have had those 30 seconds he needed to reach cover. Might have. 3 seconds of choice. 2 decisions. 1 permanent consequence. The knowledge hits like blunt force. She made the tactically correct decision in the moment. Neutralized an immediate threat, but the wrong strategic decision. Left Collier alive to rally his forces. And Drummond died in the window she created. Her fault. Her choice. Her dead. She forces focus. Pushes guilt down where it can wait. Right now, she has a rifle and enemies and a team that needs her functional, not paralyzed. She shoots. Targets appear. She kills them. Mechanical. Precise. Each round a small piece of atonement that will never be enough. The assault wave breaks, not because of anything she does, because eventually even professionals recognize losing positions. They fall back. Regroup. The gorge returns to stalemate, but Drummond is still dead. The math doesn't change. Her radio erupts. Multiple voices, overlapping. The jamming is degrading. Enemy positions eliminated means fewer active jammers. Kodiak 6, this is Raven 1. Inbound your position. ETA 3 minutes. Helicopters. Finally, the reinforcements Mitchell called when the ambush started. Hours late, but coming. Raven 1, Kodiak 6. Gorge is hot. Multiple wounded. We need immediate extract. Copy. Coming in, guns up. Kira scans for helicopter threats. Finds them immediately. RPG teams, 2 of them, east and north ridges, setting up. Professional patience. They'll wait until the helicopters commit, then fire. Maximum effect. She has 4 rounds remaining. 2 teams. 2 shooters per team. Math that doesn't work. She targets east team first. Closer, more immediate. The gunner lining up his shot. Loader feeding the rocket. Professional choreography that ends in helicopter wreckage. Press. The gunner drops. The loader grabs the weapon. She chambers. Press. He falls. 2 rounds left. 1 team remaining. 1 helicopter carrying 24 lives. She swings to north team. They've watched their counterparts die. They're adjusting, moving to cover, learning. She finds the gunner, partially exposed. Press. He jerks. Hit, but not down. The loader drags him to cover. 1 round left. The team is wounded but operational, and helicopters are inbound. The Blackhawks thunder into the valley, 2 of them. Door gunners already firing. Tracers arc like prayers written in light. The sound drowns everything. Rotor wash transforms the gorge into dust storm. Chaos returns. The North RPG team fires. Kira sees rocket exhaust. Sees the weapon buck. Sees the missile track. The lead helicopter pilot sees it too. Banks hard. Flares deploy. The rocket adjusts. Tracks. Closes. Detonates. Not direct hit. Close enough. Shrapnel peppers the tail section. The helicopter yaws, wobbles. The pilot fights controls. Stays airborne. Barely. The loader is reloading. We'll fire again in seconds. We'll succeed this time. We'll kill everyone aboard. One round, one shot, range 810 yards. Wind gusting, moving target, cracked scope, hands shaking from exhaustion and adrenaline and guilt that won't wait anymore. Kira settles behind her rifle. The scope crack bisects the world. Her hands shake, her shoulder aches, her head pounds, every physical complaint the body can manufacture. She ignores all of it. Her father's voice. Final lesson. Granite Peak, day before he died. She'd asked about fear, about functioning when everything screams freeze. You don't eliminate fear, you make it irrelevant. Focus so completely on the task that fear becomes background noise. She focuses, narrows existence to crosshairs and breathing. The crack in the scope is just glass. The shake is just fatigue. The guilt is just noise that can wait. She finds the loader, finds the space between heartbeats, finds the still point. Press. The rifle speaks its final word. The loader drops. The RPG clatters down rocks. The thread ends. Her magazine is empty. She's done. Everything she came to do and more than she should have survived. The helicopters land, hover 3 feet up, ropes deploy, her team grabs on, starts ascending, wounded first. Always. Even in chaos, protocol matters. She watches through empty rifle, watches Sullivan helping someone up, watches Mitchell coordinating, watches her team extract from a gorge that tried to become their grave. Then something hits her, not metaphorically, actually impacts her left shoulder. The force spins her, slams her against rock. World becomes pain. She's been shot. The knowledge arrives distant, academic. She looks at her shoulder. Blood, entry wound, small, professional marksmanship from someone who found her position. Return fire. She'd focused so completely on the helicopters, she forgot to protect herself. Amateur mistake that should be fatal. But the bullet missed bone, missed artery, just muscle. Hurts like someone drove railroad spike through her, but she's not dying, not yet. Her radio crackles. Sullivan's voice. Urgent. Stillwater, we see you hit. Stay there, we're coming. She tries to respond. Radio is dead, hit by same bullet maybe. Or just finally quit. She lies there, bleeding, watching her team extract, watching helicopters lift, watching them leave. Then the second helicopter banks, comes back. Can't land on the narrow summit, but hovers close. Door gunner providing suppressive fire. Sullivan visible in the door. Rope in hand, he throws it. The rope falls across rocks 3 feet away. She stares, her left arm doesn't work. Shot shoulder, right arm shakes. The rope might as well be miles. Sullivan's voice carries over rotor wash, shouting, Brennan, grab the rope. We don't leave people. She reaches. Right hand closes on nylon. She pulls, tests, it holds. Her body screams protest. Every muscle spent. Left shoulder ruined. Right arm exhausted. She pulls anyway. Hand over hand, inch by inch. Blood making rope slippery. Hand cramping. Helicopter drifting in wind. Sullivan shouting encouragement she can't hear. She pulls. Doesn't think. Doesn't calculate. Just executes next movement. Then next. Existence reduces to grip and pull and breathe. Hands grab her. Sullivan, another operator. They haul her aboard. She collapses on metal deck. Cold. Beautiful cold. Safe cold. The helicopter banks away, gains altitude. The gorge falls behind. The battle falls behind. Everything falls behind. Sullivan's face appears above her. Assessing. His hands already working. Pressure bandage. Efficient movements. You climb Sentinel Ridge. Not question. Statement wrapped in disbelief, wrapped in certainty. She nods. Can't speak. Too tired. 26 confirmed kills from impossible position with damaged equipment. She shakes her head. Finds voice. Hoarse. Broken. 18. 6 misses. And I killed Marcus. My cousin. He coordinated the ambush. I chose him over Collier. Then chose wrong again. Drummond died because I made the wrong call twice. Sullivan's hands pause. Marcus Brennan. He wanted me dead. Used my father's teaching against me. And I let it compromise my judgment. Chose revenge first. Chose tactics wrong second. Both times cost lives. The confession empties her. Makes it real. She chose wrong. Twice. And Drummond paid. Sullivan's hands resume work. Drummond took a chest shot during the assault. High-quality sniper. Nothing you could have prevented. I could have killed Collier when I had him wounded. Could have broken the assault before it started. Drummond would have had time. Would have lived. Could have. Or could have gotten yourself killed trying. Tactical decisions under fire don't come with certainty. But she knows the choices she made, knows the math. 22 saved, 4 dead, 2 errors, all permanent. The helicopter races toward base, toward safety, toward aftermath. 4 days later, Kira sits in briefing room, left arm in sling, shoulder healing. Doctors say 6 weeks to full recovery. She doesn't tell them some wounds don't heal on schedules. S-Ace Patricia Aldridge sits across from her, Captain Mitchell beside her, Sergeant Sullivan as witness. After action review, official accounting, Aldridge's face is professionally neutral, the face of someone who has read reports, who knows body count, who understands tactical situations. Agent Brennan, your intervention prevented catastrophic casualties. Captain Mitchell's assessment indicates you were a decisive factor in team survival. Kira waits. However, Aldridge's tone doesn't change. You violated protocol, conducted unauthorized movement, made tactical decisions without consultation. Yes, ma'am. You also disclosed during medical debrief that you engaged family member, Marcus Brennan, your cousin, that you made what you characterize as tactical errors. First, choosing to engage Marcus instead of primary target Collier. Second, choosing to neutralize an enemy sniper instead of finishing wounded Collier. Kira meets her eyes, doesn't flinch. Yes, ma'am. Agent Drummond died during the assault that followed my second error. If I'd eliminated Collier when he was wounded and exposed, the assault might have faltered before starting. Drummond might have had time to reach cover. Might have lived. Mitchell shifts. Brennan, you can't know, she cuts him off, gentle but firm. Sir, respectfully, I made wrong calls. Emotion first, then tactical miscalculation. Agent Drummond is dead. Agent Thatcher. Agent Whitlock. Agent Moss. 4 families received flags because I made errors. Silence fills the room. Aldridge studies her. Long moment. The intelligence indicates this ambush specifically targeted you. Marcus Brennan had FBI operational knowledge, knew your assignment patterns, used his training to predict your response. Yes, ma'am, he used my father's teaching against me, and I let personal feelings compromise judgment. You also climbed objectively impossible route, engaged superior force, achieved 18 confirmed kills under conditions that would break most operators, saved 22 lives. 22 lived, ma'am, 4 died. Both numbers matter, I carry both. Aldridge sets down pen, folds hands. Agent Brennan, I'm recommending you for primary HRT sniper assignment, acknowledgement of capability under extreme conditions. Kira doesn't react, just sits. With respect, ma'am, I request time, personal leave. I killed family. 4 teammates died. I need to process before accepting responsibility. Mitchell looks surprised. Sullivan looks understanding. Aldridge nods. Granted, 30 days. Use it well. She pauses. For what it's worth, you saved 22 lives. Don't lose that in guilt. Won't forget either number, ma'am. 22 and 4, both permanent. The debriefing ends. Kira stands, salutes, leaves. Outside, Sullivan catches her. Kira, you're being too hard on yourself. Am I? Or am I being honest about cost? He has no answer. She doesn't expect one. 6 weeks later, Kira stands in front of 4 houses. Different states, same purpose. She visits each family, tells truth, not sanitized, not heroic. Truth. Thatcher's widow, 8 months pregnant. Baby due next month. James or Sarah. Will never know their father. Kira tells her about the choice to shoot Marcus. About revenge mattering more than mission for 3 seconds. About post. Drummond's parents. They look old the way grief ages people. Their son was 29. Youngest. Eager. Hero worshipped her father. Kira tells them about the tactical error, about choosing wrong, about seconds that matter. Whitlock's sister, angry, has every right. Kira tells her about staying silent during briefing, about seeing the ambush site and saying nothing, about first error that started everything. Moss's husband, quiet, grateful someone came. Kira tells him about being human, about making mistakes, about carrying weight. None blame her. Some thank her. All seem to understand she's there not seeking forgiveness, but offering accounting. She leaves flowers. Every house. White lilies. Her father's funeral flowers. 3 months later, Kira accepts the primary sniper assignment. Not because guilt faded, because 22 people are alive and deserve her best. She trains, deploys, does the job with precision that becomes legendary, but never accepts commendation, never seeks recognition, just works. Once monthly, she drives to Stillwater County. Cemetery on the hill, her father's grave. The headstone is simple. Declan Brennan, Ranger, father, teacher, dates bracketing a life. She brings white lilies, sits on grass, sometimes talks, sometimes just sits. Today she talks. Climbing Sentinel Ridge, Dad, 380 feet. Darkness. Made it. Saved 22. Wind moves through cemetery grass. Mountains scent. Pine. Cost 4 lives. Made wrong calls. Chose Marcus over mission. You'd be disappointed. You always said mission first. She traces his name. Granite. Permanent. But I'm still here, still working. 22 and 4. Both numbers matter. Won't forget either. She stands. Brushes grass from jeans. Looks at mountains. Bitter roots distant. Sentinel Ridge somewhere in that stone. Team calls me Stillwater. Not because I'm quiet, because in chaos I was calm. They don't know about the errors. Don't know how close it came to failing. She picks up rifle case. Government issue. New M110. New scope. No cracks. But she keeps the old one. Reminder. Next month, same as always. Flowers, numbers. Trying to make it balance. She walks to her truck. Gravel under boots. Behind her headstone stands. Silent. Witness. In the truck, she pulls out notebook. Opens to familiar page. The note from before the climb. Captain Mitchell, attempting Sentinel Ridge. If I don't make it, tell Sergeant Sullivan, I'm sorry for not speaking up earlier. Below it, added later different ink. 4 names. Thatcher, Drummond, Whitlock, Moss. 22 survivor names. Both lists. Below both added today, fresh ink, 3 seconds. 2 choices, both wrong. All permanent. She closes the notebook. Starts the engine. Mountains wait. Job waits. Numbers wait. 22 saved. 4 lost. 2 errors. Some debts can't be repaid, only carried. Some choices can't be unmade, only learned from. Some numbers don't balance, only exist. Kira Brennan drives toward whatever comes next. In the mirror, cemetery fades. Her father's grave. Mountains. The place where she learned that right choice and survivable choice aren't always the same. That sometimes you only learn which is which 3 seconds too late. That the difference between hero and failure is which numbers people choose to count. She carries both. Always will. 22 reasons to continue. 4 reasons to never forget cost. The road stretches ahead. Behind mountains hold secrets. The story of a woman who climbed impossible stone, who made right choices and wrong choices, who killed 18 enemies and lost 4 friends, who carries the weight of both. Forever. The numbers carved deeper than granite. The choice is permanent as stone. The math that never balances but always matters. 22 and 4. Both true, both permanent, both hers.